What's up everyone, it's Riley and I'm back at it with the Ableton V2 template for worship keys. I've been working on this one since I did the first Ableton template, working on making all the presets be my own presets. All the Omnisphere sounds are my own created sounds. And then there's a lot of free plugins in here that I made presets for so that you can get that. And with that being said, there are some third-party plugins that I used for this. I made everything be able to be swapped to the relative Ableton stock plugin instead of using a third party. So on the main piano rack, there is a macro switch that goes from third party to Ableton. And then everywhere else, I just added the Ableton equivalent plugin just turned off. So you can swap between those if you don't have these third-party plugins. You should be able to get nearly identical sounds out of it. Some of them, like the reverbs, I don't really jive with Ableton's verb and delay. That's why I would recommend you get Valhalla and like Sound Toys, Echo Boy Jr. or something along those lines. It's just going to be higher quality reverb and delay sounds. One of the most important things as well with this was making something simplistic enough that it's easy to use and it's easy for me to use on the fly and not have to hit so many knobs to get a good sound, but also having enough options to do a lot of things. The biggest update to this template from the old template is using instrument racks. I tried to make everything fit into a rack so that I would have macro control. And what I did was I assigned a lot of those to my controller itself, but then also I have like the toggle switches here to trigger snapshots in the macros, so I could have presets for my sounds. Let's talk about the computer first. So my computer is a MacBook Pro 2021 model. It's getting old now, but it's a M1 Max with 64 gigs of memory. I think I have 2 terabytes of SSD on there. I keep the majority of actually all of my VSTs on the computer so that it's just quicker for me and I don't have to have a external drive plugged in just to play sounds. Within Ableton, I am running it at 48 kilohertz for the sample rate. Then I never go below 256 for the buffer size. I never really go above it. 256 seems to work really well for this. Now let's dive into the actual template itself. So I have from left to right, the piano rack, then pads, aux keys group with the aux keys rack. Now the ARP and the pluck thing are what I would call the loopable synths. So they have clips in all 12 keys. And when you play your song, your set list, it should be linked to whichever BPM you tell it to be in, and you'll get a looped thing that you can bring in and out. Just like with the pad rack or the pad group, I have the air pad rack. Now this is like from when I was making pads like years ago and I forgot that I was doing this. I just dropped all of them into a drum rack and all 12 keys. Then I threw in a click rack. I've been experimenting with this more and more of running click through Ableton. It's super simple. There's not options of sounds like other people. I just did the click that I like, and there you go. Then last but not least, in the racks area, I have a free piano rack. So this has the Ableton Grand Piano and the Labs Soft Piano, but then also the Labs Dulcimer. So you have 3 sounds that I pre-programmed in there. It's free. All of the VSTs are free. It's not that it's good. It's not like crazy. But it would be like what I would use if I didn't have any other option. Then we have the sends. So we have a reverb, Valhalla Vintage, one of the best reverbs out there. Delay with Echo Boy Jr. from Sound Toys, one of the best delays out there. And then the crystallizer from Sound Toys. And I have some extra goodies in there. Then on the main, I have an effects rack, just doing simple things. A cutoff filter for the entire mix. Everything gets summed into this channel and I can filter it back if I needed to. I can add in some extra compression. And then I have a verb, which is the Valhalla Shimmer. And this is just like everything can get sent into this and I can go super ambient and washy with it. The other thing that I would do with these is set these into all of the playable instruments that I have. I would make sure that my MIDI is coming from the keyboard controller that I'm using. So in this case, it's my Rev 2, but at church, it would be the Nord Stage 3. I would change this to whichever you're using for keyboard playing so that Ableton doesn't have the chance to use any of your other MIDI stuff to play actual notes. Also, let's talk about this. I don't really know if there's like a completely right or wrong way to do this. But these are the settings that I have for what I'm running right now. I am not using the IAC driver. I am only using the Rev 2 to track, and then I am only using the launch control for remote. So first up is the piano rack. Now this is an instrument rack within an instrument rack, and with some MIDI effects too. So after a lot of trial and error, I think I've arrived to this, and I think it's pretty good, and I think it covers a lot of different genres within the worship style. I would use this a lot for live playing, obviously, but also production. And it's not just CCM. You can get some gospel stuff out of this too. So first, let's not talk about this area. This is like my bigger instrument rack that has the MIDI effects and some extra like tonal effects that applies to everything within the actual piano rack. But if we go to our piano rack here, you can see that I have all of these macro controls, and then also all of these presets for the pianos, and different collections of sounds. So first off, the main piano tone is the Noir from Contact or from Native Instruments. You will need Contact to run this. I will include 7 and 8 in the download. So whichever one you're using, you can just plug it into it and it should work. This is the softest tone or the softest preset. Then soft is a little bit more of the felt sound. The reason I love the Noir is because I can get those felt tones all the way to a big piano sound within one plugin. Then I have a big grand, and this uses some of the other instruments. So big grand uses some of the upright one, which is addictive keys, and tack, which is I have 2 different tacks options. Tack 1, which is keyscape, this duo harpsichord thing. And then my more favorite one is Mrs. Mills piano. And I just tweaked it a bit to better fit how I want to use it. But this is how the big grand sounds. Then Grand Jangle. Grand Jangle is just a little bit more of that uprighty, tacky sound. Upright 1 is the addictive keys, modern upright. I just made some changes to some of the mic choices in there. Upright 2 would be Wing from Keyscape. A lot more nuanced and weird. So not always as usable, but sometimes it's cool. Awake My Soul, exactly what you think it is. Then we have the EP, which is an electric piano like Rhodes, more so. All this is Keyscape. This is one of the classic Suitcase. With the tremolo around it. Then the EP Bethel, same Rhodes sound, but with some effects. I'm thinking the Anything Is Possible, that kind of tone. Then I would have the 80s, which is 80s like electric piano, but then I'm blending in some of the other pianos underneath it. And then another variation of the 80s. Then we have particles. So the cool thing about the Noir is that it has a particles engine in it. So I'm utilizing that, and then also this other free piano from Fracture Sounds, their Blueprint series. So this is the first one is the Noir. So I also have that mapped to a knob here on my launch control. So I could bring that in whenever. Then I have text or particles too, which would be both of the particle engines. And again, I have both of those on knobs, so I could go from to. Yeah, so that's basically the piano rack section. Like I said earlier, you have the Ableton versus third-party plugin option. So I'll just show you an example of that. So this is the normal. Then it's on the third-party section right now. If I went to Ableton, this is how it sounds. And you can see here, I'll show you so you can see I'm not cheating. This is the Ableton EQ, and then Pro Q4. So Pro Q4, Ableton. And I did that for all of them. So no matter which one you're on, it should sound nearly, if not exactly, the same. Now going to the bigger rack that holds the piano rack within it. I have all of these 6 macros that combine to do like a lot of really cool things. So obviously dry, there's nothing that it's doing. Then we have the ability to do an octave up with the chord MIDI functionality. I used to run it only on my Noir, and I did a second instance of it with a pitch up only at a certain range of the keyboard, and that was cool and it was great. And I just like link them together so that their tones would be the exact same, no matter what I did to it. Then I saw somebody else do this, and I was like, this is such a better way to do it. Better being like, it's easy, but I can also save CPU with not doing another instance, and I can do it for every one of my pianos in the rack. So we're on the upright right now. I wouldn't have had this opportunity to do an octave up with the old way that I was doing it. The only thing is that I don't get the keyboard separation, so you have to be careful with what you play down low. But now I can do that on any tone whatsoever. So let's do it on the EP. And I have it on a knob here so that I could blend it in. Let's do it on the soft. And yeah, that's cool. Then I have this chord strum. Been playing around with it. It's cool. It's like maybe too much. So again, it's just another chord thing, doing a strum through the intervals. And the way that I would use that would be maybe with some of the texture, reverb, and delay turned up, and doing. Something like that to get really crazy. And then we have a lo-fi option, which just it sums everything to mono, adds some vibrato on it, low cut, high cut thing. And again, the cool thing is that it applies to any tone that I do. So if we go over to the EP, upright, I have a stereo lo-fi option, so it doesn't have to be mono. The lo-fi strum, which is the same thing as the chord strum, just in lo-fi. Again, very cool with a lot of effects after. Drive for a reason. It's cool. More so in like the production area, to be like something like that. More comp. I have an additional compressor, so like really I would think I'm using it with to make more like pop. Dry. And then mono keys, just mono. So yeah, a lot of things that you can do just in the piano rack alone. But let's move on to the pads. So on here, it's again a instrument rack within an instrument rack, so that I can do one thing to everything within the rack. So here, this one's built on Omnisphere. I will include one that is Serum pads, but this one, Omnisphere, is like the daddy of synth sounds right now, at least for me. And then I have Omnisphere stuff, and then I have lab stuff. So big on the free things, because like you don't need to spend money to get cool sounds. But yeah, here's my main pad sound. And then I have the cutoff filters mapped to the mod wheel. I do have an additional cutoff if you wanted to just use it from there. That is a combination of all three of the Omnisphere pads that I have here. Then Bright Pad gets a little bit more of the low end out. Ambient pad is definitely, it doesn't have as much to do with the mod wheel. It's more so like a base layer. And then my labs pads. So what they are, they're all free. The synth pads. Then we have granular whale song, and then we have guitar harmonics. So all three of those together get me this. Really dope and really atmospheric with these guys. And then, so I have obviously the cutoff, but if you're using a mod wheel, you don't need that. Then I have an extra verb mix, and I have a sequencer. So it's just an auto pan, but it's after every single one of the pads. So I could take this to... and I can change it around like... all those crazy fun sounds. Okay, now going to the ARP or the Aux Keys rack. This one's fun. I've been trying to make a preset in Omnisphere that sounds like this one from Hammer and Waves. Haven't done it yet. I'll release it when I get it, but this is friggin' awesome. It's super dope. Super percussive, but with this like weird warble underneath. So that blended in with the keys even, or the piano is like... Then the most immediate one I would have after that is Cranked, which is another Omnisphere deal. I'm really distorting the heck out of it in Omnisphere, and then blending it in underneath like my pad sound would be how I would actually use it. So we could be here, and then I have my Cranked. So it's a mono synth, and it'll only play one note at a time. And then I try to make it to where it plays the highest note that you're playing. sometimes you got to play around with how you need to do it to get what you want. But again, I'd probably be somewhere like this. Doing all that stuff. Then the last one I have in the aux keys is bells. And I also have this ability to pitch up or down the synths so that you can either have them above or exactly what you're playing. So here's the bells. Now, this is the patch is connected to the mod wheel, so the wetness would be connected to this. I'd probably just leave it wet if I was using this specifically in a song list. But yeah, it's cool. It does the thing. Then we have the ARP and the PLUCK thing. So these are our loopable synths. So if I hit play, now my clips would be being able to be played. So this is the PLUCK thing and how I would probably use it. And then I can change it from a light sound, the normal one preset, to the big. And do it like that. Then I have the ARP. This is a volume control that I assigned for the ARP. And then the filter. So I've been playing around with do I assign them to the same thing, the ARP, filter, and volume? Because that would normally be how I would do it, but you can play around with it like that. Within the rack itself, you have the options to do 16ths, 30 seconds, up, down, up and down, random, and of course a blown out because I love distortion on synths. It's simple, kind of like a thing a la Taylor King that I've been doing. Really cool. Check his out. Then we have the pad. The pad is my own custom pad samples that I've just dropped in a drum rack. So the control for the volume is here. I have control over the pad volume itself within that and the filter. But then the coolest part is that I have this bass layer, which is just a Labs thing. It's electronic antique amped up. Again, free deal here. I can filter both of them down, but I like to use this as like a moment to let me not play as much. Super cool, super ambient, super nice. Then we have the click rack. Again, very simple here. One sample. That's how I turn it on, and that's how I turn it off. Crazy stuff. You get accents, fourths, eighths, and sixteenths, and I put in a few different clips in there. So 3/4. Really, the only things I would ever use 3/4 and 4/4. Yeah. And then let's talk about the free piano. It's not like anything I'm crazy about, but if you're looking for something free and easy, this is a cool thing. I'm a guy that likes like a textural piano, so that's why I threw in the Lab Soft in there. So this is like the main sound. Then you could have a dulcimer. And you can control how hard or soft it's going to be. And I have an octave up preset on it too, with verb mix and decay. And again, here you have where you can have the free Ableton version, or if you have Valhalla Vintage, I have a preset in there for you. Okay, now going to the synths. So this is a reverb one. It's Valhalla Vintage. My preset for that for piano. The delay is Echo Boy Jr. Again, my preset for piano there. Crystallizer. This is a really cool effect that I use very sparingly. Let's get all that off. So it can get out of hand really quickly, but it is cool. On the mains, we have the main effect rack. So cut off for everything. So no matter what I had going, I can filter that down to nothing. I also have an additional compressor mix. Probably more noticeable on. Just to tighten things up a little bit more. And then reverb, which is the Valhalla Shimmer. This is the only thing that I cannot get Ableton reverb anywhere close to. So I'll use that to throw everything into it. Maybe with a little bit extra filter. And then of course, master volume. So I could fade in a preset sound. Yeah, and that's it. That's pretty much the template. Hopefully this is pretty easy to understand how I have everything set up. There will be a whole instruction list with this to get you set up completely good. Do let me know what you think about it in the comments, and let me know if there's anything else that I could do to make it better, make it more easy to use. I hope that you can get a use out of all these creative ways that I put things together, or make your own template like this. I will be making demos of the other preset packs that are within this. So like my Omnisphere pack and my Serum pack, and you'll be able to get every rack individually from this template if you wanted to just grab the piano pack or the pads or tonal pad or click or whatever you wanted through here. I will make them separate, but you can get this all together in one pack on my website. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.